Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily news television show broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
We are proud to announce that YouTube has recognized Queer News Tonight, certified by analytics company vidIQ, as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 10 million views.
We are proud that we have more than 1,000 new subscribers in the last month, and that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
Over 500,000 of you have watched the show in the last 90 days. We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the LGBTQ community. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Wednesday, February 26th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we'll tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ plus evening news show.
Hot Spots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hot Spots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 10,000 LGBT television stories. We will produce the 25th anniversary of our Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th. We present Pride Fete in August and Pride Fort Lauderdale in February. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 community leader anchors will host this show to support the LGBTQ plus community. Let's meet today's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Bonnie Builder. There can only be one Bonnie Builder. She's the premier South Florida bodybuilding drag queen and the forever reigning Mixed Mary's Wilton Manors. Bon, the theatrical version of The Lion King is coming to Fort Lauderdale. Tell me what's happening.
I am super excited for this one because I love The Lion King. Disney's The Lion King takes the stage at the Wren Theater at the Broward Center for the Performing Arts in Fort Lauderdale from March 6th to March 30th. Audiences will witness the Serengeti come to life through dazzling visuals, larger-than-life puppetry, and soaring music. Directed by Tony Award winner Julie Taymor, the Broadway sensation has captivated over 100 million people worldwide with its stunning artistry and unforgettable storytelling. Choreographed by Tony Award winner Garth Fagan, the production features Academy Award-winning music by Elton John and Tim Rice, including iconic songs like Circle of Life. With tickets starting at $45, this 6-time Tony Award-winning show offers an immersive journey of hope and adventure. More details and ticket bookings are available at thelionking.com and browardcenter.org. Baby, this is major because not only was The Lion King one of the first movies I had memorized as a baby, because when my mom got sick of me, which was not that long ago, when my mom got sick of me, she was sitting in front of that TV. I would watch The Lion King because it was like the first Disney adaptation that showed like Africa and like where I might be from. I don't really know. But to also have this show be the first Broadway show I saw in New York when I was a teenager, like couple months ago, it was incredible. So I'm excited that it's in our backyard and that we can see it for a very reasonable price. How y'all feel?
Oh my God. Well, the Irene Theater over there at the Broward Center is an incredible theater to see a musical of this caliber, right? And it's like I said, the Circle of Life, that song right there on stage, you get the goosebumps all over your body. Oh my God. It's just incredible. If you've never been to a musical, Lion King is the best one that you can go to with your friends and family because you can even take the kids to it, you know? And it's the illustrative way that they really present this play on stage is just beautiful. And the touring company does just an amazing job as well.
For sure.
I wasn't as young as you when I saw it on Broadway.
Well, that's
But
obvious.
but it was extremely moving, and the way that the way Disney took the cartoon version of it and brought it on stage and was able to recreate some of those scenes with the wild, the birds flying and stuff. It's a testament that it definitely should be a Tony Award winner, which it is.
Which it is,
because it's just an incredible show.
Is Hakuna Matata in this song?
Yeah.
It's a wonderful phrase.
It means no worries.
It's
Which
one
we
of my,
need. Which
it's one of
we
my,
need.
my
Holding up
favorite
of the baby.
musicals. And I am from Africa. I'm actually born in Zimbabwe. So when I saw it on Broadway 20-something years ago, it was pretty
were sitting next to me.
spectacular. I was in my diapers. It was so great. Oh my
You were the
God.
chaperone.
There we go.
No one would leave me alone with children.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at the Lion King at the RNA Theater at the Broward Center from March 6th through March 30th. Let's welcome anchor Glen Weinzimer. He has been a South Florida advocate for over 30 years, raising awareness and more than $16 million for the HIV/AIDS community for 20 plus years. He's also a travel director, corporate events planner, and former owner of Bona Italian Restaurant. I miss your garlic rolls. Glenn, Binglow at the Center, 80s edition at Pride Center is on March 1st. Tell me what's happening.
I am so glad to be back, and yes, I miss my garlic rolls too. All right, get ready for a glowing good time at Bingalow, a glow-in-the-dark bingo event at the Center on Saturday, March 1st from 1:30 to 3 p.m. Doors open at the Pride Center 1 p.m. and the event features 3 exciting games in a low-light, backlit setting for $15. Attendees will receive entry, 2 beverages, soft drink, water, or adult beverages, light snacks, and 1 bingo card per round. Additional cards will be available for purchase. Proceeds support the Center's Florida AIDS Walk team, aiming to raise $400,000 that gets matched. Participants are encouraged to dress casually. Don't miss the chance to play, sip, and support a great cause. For more details, visit pridecenterflorida.org. I've gone to the Pride Center for many bingos, and it is always a hoot. We did some fundraisers for Smart Ride at some point there, and it is always, they've got a great crowd, and it'll be a fun afternoon, and it's all going to a good cause. And as everyone knows, it's an AHF is the sponsor of the event for the AIDS Walk, and they do match dollar for dollar the benefiting agencies that receive funding from them. So, if they can raise $400,000, it gets matched. I think the max that they can match is $400,000.
Wow, so they would get 800 if they get to 400, and the Pride Center at Equality Park does so much. Robert Boo over there, hello, sir. Thank you for all the help that you provide for so many in our community. $15, that's nothing. And you get food, drinks, and you get to play bingo. I'm one of those bingo people that I have the little trolls sitting in front of me. I got my own stamper. I got to have at least 10 cards, and don't talk to me. I'm like that. All right. So
Dabbing.
I'm dabbing.
You're dabbing. Use the dabber.
Oh, you have to. I'm serious about my bingo, and then
But
you're
you're
gonna
not
throw.
competitive.
No,
Not at all.
Not at all. But then you throw into the fact that it's Binglow, right? So it's gonna be like a low kind of lighting, and then things glowing in the dark, and then it's 80s, which is my favorite music that I used to listen to as a kid. Come on,
As long as your eyes aren't from the 80s, because you won't be able to see the cards in the dark. Everything else will glow but the numbers. That's going to be interesting.
She said as a kid. Also, I don't agree with one thing. They said come dressed casually. This is an opportunity to turn a look. Get your neon, get your 80s stuff, which is basically just stuff from high school for y'all. Get whatever you got to really turn the look. Don't show up casually. Pay your $15. Bring your friends, pay your money, turn the look, and have a good time.
Yeah, go do some flash dance or something, right?
Right.
Make it fun.
I love
right?
both those things.
Queer News Tonight.
Or dancing.
Both. Flashing
what I
and
thought she
dancing.
said.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at Binglow at the Center, 80s edition on March 1st. Let's welcome anchor Franchesca D'Amore. She is an advocate and holistic life coach. She is the founder of Trans Ed and an executive committee member of the Broward Regional HIV Planning Council. Francesca, baby, I'm so happy to have you at the table. So Trans Ed will be walking in the Florida AIDS Walk on March 15th in Fort Lauderdale. Tell me what's happening.
Oh, I'm really excited. So Trans Ed will be joining many other organizations walking in the Florida AIDS Walk on March 15th in Fort Lauderdale. If you've ever been on the AIDS Walk, it's just such a great event for all these different organizations to come together, and TransEd will be there. We will be walking with Save LGBT, who is our fiscal sponsor, and donations will be matched by AHF. So to join TransEd or to make a donation, visit FloridaAIDSWalk.org and look for TransEd. And any donations go towards our services. And what we basically do at TransEd is we work with trans and non-binary youth, young adults, on getting their GED certifications. So we provide new computers, books, notebooks, and personal weekly tutors. And we pay for the exams for the duration of however long the student needs to take to get there. It might take a year, it might take 2 years. We have quite a few students that dropped out of school in 4th grade, 8th grade. I mean, the stories are heart-wrenching. Also, funds will go towards our annual scholarship. Last year we gave out $2,500. This year we're giving out $10,000.
Woohoo!
So I'm really excited about that. So we want to keep on increasing it.
For
So
sure.
Support us. We
For
need
sure. Right. We gotta, and if you go out there to the AIDS Walk, which if you love to support any kind of nonprofit, you should be there for the AIDS Walk. It's bright and early, and it is a day filled with advocacy and fun, and you see all your friends out there. But the reality is that these nonprofits like TransEd need these monies to continue to do their services. And now more than ever, with so many federal grants being taken and monies cut here and there, I mean, now is the time that you really need this money more than ever, correct?
Absolutely. And now more than ever, the trans community needs the LGBTQ support, So be there or be queer.
Or
be queer.
both.
And be queer.
And be
It's
queer.
important that you were saying about the AIDS work, about being out there. I think being out there, being present is so important right now. We've taken a lot of these things for granted and go, I'll do the walk next year. This year, it's really important that we take a stand because we talk about all these issues, but things are changing and we're trying to act like it's normal. But we're not in a normal situation right now.
At all.
And people need to stand up and take action, not just talk about it. It's sort of frustrating to watch the news because no one's a call to action. We're not all meeting somewhere in mass and in outrage. And I can't imagine why everyone isn't completely outraged by everything that's happening, especially to our community. And we've seen it happen to immigrants. Who do you think's next? People are disappearing, in my opinion, when they have housing for 30,000 people in Guantanamo Bay. That's not very different than Hitler moving people to camps and no one heard from them again. So the fact that we're watching people leave the country, go to Guantanamo Bay, and act like nothing's happening to me is an outrage. And I think that, it's nice that we're doing the walk. It's nice that there's lip sync battles and all that stuff, but that's acting like nothing's different and everything is different. And it's actually frustrating to me to watch everything act like we're doing a gala, we're doing this. It's screw the gala, screw all of it. We need to take action. We need to be out there. We need to be present. We need to make a mark and not act like everything's normal. Sorry, that's my rant because I just pissed off at just listening to politicians and even local community leaders who are not actually getting out there and getting people out.
That's true.
Say how you really feel. Go ahead.
That's how I really feel.
Queer News Tonight looks
Get out
forward
to
to
the
seeing you at the Florida AIDS Walk on March 15th.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She's a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of Hotspot Happening Out's The FayWhat Show. Tell me, how you doing, baby?
I am good, Miss Wendy Williams. So I want to invite everybody to watch the FayWhat Show, okay? So this coming Tuesday, I have the incredible Von Biggs from Holy Cross in bed with me. We're going to be talking about topics and everyday affairs. Then I will be interviewing the incredible Tommy Morrell. He is part of T3 Fitness and also Be Fair Counseling, and he really deals with trauma fitness and trying to get you as healthy and happy as you can to fight this big fight in 2025. So I'll see you all at my show on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up the USA view. Let's Make Gay Marriage Illegal Again has actions moving for Supreme Court decision. A Michigan lawmaker is pushing to overturn marriage equality. Republican Representative Josh Shriver announced plans to introduce a resolution urging the U.S. Supreme Court to reverse its 2015 ruling in Obergefell versus Hodges, which granted same-sex couples the right to marry. Shriver claims the decision conflicts with the sanctity of marriage and the Michigan Constitution. The resolution is non-binding and unlikely to pass in the Democrat-controlled Senate or be signed by Governor Gretchen Whitmer. However, it aligns with past calls from conservative justices to revisit rights related to marriage and private life. Shriver has a history of anti-LGBTQ rhetoric. He has previously stated that the U.S. should, quote, make gay marriage illegal again, end quote. His resolution follows similar efforts in other Republican-led states, including Idaho. Advocates warn these actions signal broader threats to LGBTQ plus rights. Legal scholars suggest that a larger game plan to return a gay marriage appeal to the Supreme Court is now in full pursuit by the GOP. Queer News Tonight extensively covered the Supreme Court Roe decision by reversing its long-held abortion decision of constitutional privacy rights. Justices Thomas and Alito suggested that this same review should occur on the court's 2015 gay marriage decision. It would appear these types of challenges are to get the settled constitutional law on gay marriage back before the Supreme Court. Queer News Tonight has reached out to the log cabin Republicans and leaders of Gays for Trump for a comment. They have repeatedly said that the current administration would never try to reverse gay marriage. As of this broadcast, we have not had a reply from either conservative LGBTQ organization. Meanwhile, Shriver faces backlash over a racist online post, losing staff and his committee seat. His efforts to challenge queer rights come as public support for marriage equality reaches 69% nationwide. You know, Project 2025 is real, right? They told us what they were doing. They had a whole manifesto telling us, right? Oh, they're not going to come after your marriage. All those people that keep on telling us that, right?
Yep.
I hate those people who keep telling us that, okay? So yes, you know, they were just testing the waters on this, all right? This is not going to pass, but they're putting their feet in, okay? My favorite part about this whole entire thing was when Michigan's openly gay senator stared him down, right, and said that the resolution wouldn't make it out of the make it out of the committee. Okay, Jeremy Moss, thank you for your words. Thank you for doing that. You know, these folks don't see us as equal, guys. They don't, and they're gonna come after our marriage. This is just further proof that everything written in Project 2025, they are making sure that it comes and happens. You know, they don't want us married because they don't even think of us as equal. So why give us equal rights if they look at us that way?
Well, Trump even evaded the question many times when he was asked. That right there was like a sure tell sign.
He knew nothing about 2025 when he was asked.
Of course, he didn't know anything about 2025. But it's crazy that that was 10 years ago when, you know, same-sex marriage became legal and equality finally prevailed. And it's only 10 years later that this is happening. I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but it looks like it is going to push forward, you know, like everything else is pushing forward.
Yeah.
And we have to be realistic about what's ahead so we know how to deal with everything.
Yeah, just these crazies just need other people to support their crazy, and that's it. You know, when Shriver first announced this, they started out with 12 GOP co-sponsors. Okay, after all the rhetoric, after people screaming and yelling, now they only have 6. Okay, so yeah, there's a high possibility this is not going to get any further, but the next person will just rewrite it differently so it gets further.
And they'll set it in a state where it can pass, and
Exactly.
then that'll be
Like
used as
Texas.
precedent, right? Move
Or here.
Right, for
honestly.
us, and then to the Supreme Court that would have to make a decision. And we already know that it's all filled with conservatives that are not in favor of LGBT rights, no more than they favor their women's rights.
Yeah.
And the first thing they did was take away your ability for an abortion. And now they're working on ways to make it harder for women to vote and making it harder for trans people to travel. Just came back from Portugal, and one of my friends is coming. He's got 2 people coming over. One is gay, and he's engaged to a trans woman. And they had put in for their visas so that the identity on it would show who she is, not what it says at birth. And they got the visa like 3 days ago, and it had changed it back to her birth.
Oh my God!
And so now she's traveling in like 2 weeks, and her visa doesn't match what her picture shows.
So of course she's not going to be able to be allowed to
And
travel. Basically,
they're going to go back and yeah, like this stuff is. They said they do it in the book, like you said. Project 2025 is real, and they're going through that book. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know how far into it is, but they're pretty far in of all the things they're doing.
I know at least 5 couples that have gotten married in the last month.
Yeah.
5 couples, 5 LGBTQ plus couples, and I don't blame them.
I will be celebrating my 3rd year wedding anniversary on March 11th with my incredible, beautiful husband, Julio.
Who's Cuban?
I love you. Who is Cuban? That's my Cuban. What really pisses me off about a story like this are all the people that came to our wedding, celebrated us, drank our alcohol and ate our food and then turned around and voted for the conservative side. This is the conservative side that is rooting to end the legitimacy of my marriage, of all the queer marriages out there. So I low-key want to say, how dare you show up to my wedding, say you are so happy for us, celebrate us, love on us, contribute towards us, and then actively vote against us. It's that's not really going to happen crowd. Yeah. They're not really going to do this crowd.
You're overreacting.
Oh, you're overreacting crowd. That's not true crowd. What are you getting this from crowd? Right. That crowd can eat my entire ass because you are actively voting against the longevity of me being with the person that God actively created for me to live the rest of my life with. How dare you look us in the face and be like, ain't nothing gonna happen, and they're actively doing it against us. Stop with the foolishness. And if you are truly so against gay marriage, do not go to a gay wedding. Keep your ass at home. I really was upset with the family members and the friends and the acquaintances that decided not to come to my wedding because it was two men. But low key, at least you was speaking on your truth. Mm-hmm. I'm still not happy with you, but at least you were honest with how you felt. You weren't
fake.
You weren't fake. You weren't sharing dishes with us and then turning around and then being like, I don't really want this to happen. So truly, to that side of the fence, how fucking dare you?
Right. And at the same time, your husband's family, because it's the only thing I can focus on right now, just because they're Latino, have a chance of being thrown out of the country, whether they're legally here or not legally here, because they're just gathering up people, and that's again going back to that's the first group. So now you've moved them all out of the country. You say they're not the kind of people we want. We want people from Sweden.
We want white people, white cisgendered men. Right. That's what they want.
So everyone's at risk, and it's that. They come after you and you say nothing, and then they come after your neighbor and you say nothing, and then who's left you? And so unless you're suddenly overnight going to wake up white, And
what about the Constitution? The unconstitutionality of it all. It's all being ignored. What about our Equal Protection Clause, where same-sex marriage, or marriage period, it shouldn't even be called same-sex marriage.
Right.
Marriage period. It should be a fundamental liberty for every person in this country.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Well, and
that's what's pissing me.
And what do these asswacks start saying? They'll be like, oh, if we let them marry, then, you can go marry your horse or something. You know what I mean? Like the comparisons are just so freaking crazy. But that's what they think of us.
Right.
They really think of us subhuman.
That has nothing to do with us. Also, if you want to go marry your horse, I don't give a shit. That ain't got shit to do with me. I'm out of my fucking business. Go fuck the horse. I don't give a goddamn.
And for the
leave my marriage alone.
Fucking a horse, I don't really care because there's so many billions of us that aren't fucking a horse.
Hello.
So even with the transgender, how many people are actually going through that process that you have to put so much time and energy and money and create something, a group to hate? When that group, chances are most of America's never going to see anyone who's transgender.
No.
Because they're not going to be in Kansas City. You know what I mean? It's just crazy that again, going back to what I said before, it's that people aren't up in arms because you're seeing it hit every group. If you're in the military, you're being attacked. If you're a woman, you're being blamed for a crash in Washington, D.C. with the helicopter and the commuter jet.
Yeah, DEI did that.
I did that. And that goes back to all of us.
Yeah.
Well, the rhetoric is real and America's eating it up. But I have to think, though, there are a lot of people who are for us. I walk in all sorts of spaces in life. With all these changes, I've tailored where I walk now because I value my life. But I have to think there are a lot of good people who do care. And what we're hearing is the rhetoric of this percentage of people.
Yeah.
And not all Republicans feel that way. And not all Republicans are pro-Trump.
But did they vote for him because he was a Republican? That's
more than likely, yes.
So they voted against us.
Yeah.
Because
I
it's out there.
Well, I mean, according to the story, marriage equality support was up to 69%. It's hard to feel that percentage point when we're going through all that we're going through down here in South Florida. That's it. But we got to keep on screaming. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ plus stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm Bonnie Builder, and let's queer up entertainment. New survey ranks the 10 best celebrity underwear models of all time. Who's number 1? A new ranking of the sexiest celebrity underwear campaigns is turning heads. The results are piping hot for interest from the gay community. And the results are in thanks to cocktails and cocktalk.com. Coming at number 10, Jamie Dornan made waves with his campaign for Boss. Taylor Zakar Perez, fresh off his Lacoste shoot, lands at number 9. Euphoria star Jacob Elordi takes 8th place in his Calvin Klein ads, making quite the impression. Maluma's steamy CK campaign puts him at number 7, while Jeremy Allen White's towering billboard moment in New York secures him in 6th. Brandon Flynn takes the 5th spot, his Calvin Klein shoot still living rent-free in some of our minds. Michael B. Jordan's post-Creed Calvin ad has everyone saying breed, ranking him 4th. Mark Wahlberg, aka Marky Mark, set the standard for underwear modeling, placing 3rd. At number 2, David Gandy proves that if you are competing with Calvin, bulge is key. And finally, the number 1 celebrity underwear model of all time, it's Justin Bieber. His Calvin Klein campaign went viral as the most seen social media underwear image in history. The campaign makes him the ultimate face and body of the brand. Did your favorite make the list? Who is your favorite of all time? I will tell you this much. Justin is not my number 1.
Okay.
He ain't even in my top 10. Michael B. Jordan, with his fine self, he's in my top 5. Maluma, get into the conversation, but my number 1 of all time has to be Trayvonte Rhodes. This was a fine brother. Look at him right there.
Wow.
This fine brother from Moonlight.
Delicious.
When that popped up on my Instagram feed, child, please, I almost stuck it in the charger port of my phone. That man is fine.
Look at that bowl.
Look at that brother. Look at that
Wow.
oil. Look at that coconut oil just slipping through the skin. Look just like me.
Do you think he's extra packed? Like, do you think he packed it?
I think he was born this way.
Yes.
I think he came with it.
Well, look, I agree with you with the Justin Bieber. I don't see it, right? And he's always kind of like this kind of like Twinkie kind of boy. You know what I mean? Like, I know he's, older now and all of that, right? But I don't see him as number 1. But I am glad that Marky Mark didn't win. There's something about him that rubs me the wrong way. I like the Wahlburger burgers. They're yummy. But there's something about him, like the arrogance kind of has always come through, and that kind of blinds me from the sexiness, right? Somebody that needs to be on this list, and they need to start an ad campaign, Coleman Domingo. You need to find that gorgeous black man, that Afro-Latino man, okay, and get him in an ad, or Ricky Martin. Those are the 2 that I think we need to add.
Without a doubt. But Marky Mark, I know you don't love him. I just remember him being the first one I saw in Times Square, bigger than life, and couldn't believe they had somebody in tight undies where you can kind of figure out what's going on. That, 10 stories high. It was insane. And so that's stuck in my mind as the first one. And these others are, fantastic. Again, I agree with the Justin Bieber number 1. But Marky Mark just has a special place because it was the first time I actually saw it. And remember, he did that before social media was social media.
Yes, and he did it with Kate Moss. You remember? He did it with Kate Moss, and she was in the underwear also. And then I remember seeing it in Times Square, and that bulge, like, at that kind of height, right? It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know what? I've never really been a fan of like tighty whities kind of deal, but it made kind of that hot.
And that campaign was actually really forward-thinking and controversial. The one where he was with Kate Moss, he says, the best protection against AIDS is to keep your Calvins on. So
that's
about protection.
Yeah.
Some kind of protection.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't gnaw through it with your teeth.
Right. I mean, it's not going to work, but
So who else is not on the list that you would put on the list, kids?
Oh my God.
Some women, like.
Oh wow! Look at you.
With some
you know what I mean? Line up, like, I want to see some.
Loosen that
there
strap.
We go.
Yeah.
And let that testosterone flow again.
Or tight that strap on.
You know who looks amazing in underwear? Bodybuilder. Did you ever see that cover?
Did you ever
see the cover of her?
I saw it a little while ago, right over there.
Oh, okay. Well, there was a Hot Spots. She was on the cover of Hot Spots as both her personas, and nice. She's a gorgeous boy, in his trunks. And I was like, "Hello, look at you, Miss Bonnie."
I didn't want to make it about me. I didn't put that photo
But
in.
as long as we were doing it.
I mean, I hate the attention, but I'll talk about it. Yeah, if you go to my Instagram, bodybuilder.com, I have some looks of me as a hot young gentleman. I don't do drag because of gender euphoria or because I don't feel comfortable being just a man. I do it for attention. Purely.
Period.
Period. Period. Pool. And money and attention. That's why I do drag. I'm a
no one would ever notice you in a crowd because you're so small and demure.
No, she blends.
Because I won't be in the crowd. I'll be in the bathroom making friends. But yeah, I'm a very handsome man and a very beautiful woman. So if you want to see me in my underwear,
there you go.
Just shake my hand.
So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ plus stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now, let's dive deep into the big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Glen Weinzimer, and let's queer up gay culture. Meltdown at MSNBC over diversity creates dramatic response. Don Lemon is taking aim at Megyn Kelly, calling her a racist and the worst person who's not on television anymore. On his YouTube show, the former CNN anchor blasted Kelly for mocking Joy Reid's firing. MSNBC recently canceled the readout, removing its only black woman in prime time. Kelly celebrated Reid's exit, writing, quote, "Who's crying now, Joy? Good riddance," end quote. Lemon played Kelly's post on screen alongside reports of her demeaning women. He slammed her for hypocrisy, saying, quote, she's supposed to support women, end quote. He also pointed to her 2019 NBC firing after defending blackface. Lemon said, quote, she supposedly learned from it, then spent every day proving she's a racist, end quote. Turning Kelly's words against her, Lemon said, the worst person on television was fired from NBC. That's you, Megyn Kelly. Lemon ended his fiery response with an explicit message. Quote, in my 30-some years as a journalist and my 50-some years as a person of color, go fuck yourself, end quote. This week, many MSNBC hosts, most notably Rachel Maddow, have made on-air comments about the changes going on at MSNBC. They've made notes of multiple changes with talent in front and behind the camera that seem to be rejections of diversity. MSNBC is owned by NBC Universal, which is one of the world's most supportive LGBTQ voices in media. Queer News Tonight continues to follow this story. It extends way past Joy Reid. It's an outrage that she's being taken off, especially since diversity is under attack and they removed her. They've also moved Michael Steele away from the weekend program, and his show is moving to midweek. They took what Jose Diaz-Balart, who started out here in South Florida, his show has been moved as well. And they moved Jen Psaki, the most white person on TV, into a major spot, filling for the gap that Joy Reid and the rest of them have walked away from. So they have a ton of female hosts in prime time, but they don't have people of color. It looks like they're reducing the number of people that are Latin American background, and it's frustrating to see this. The outrage from Rachel Maddow. She recently just posted that you have more to do for your country than you have ever done before, about just everything that's going on. And Black Lives Matter, all of the things that Joy Reid made a statement with, and showed support for, was important to our community. And it's just another attack, and it's unnecessary, going against diversity and inclusion.
Listen, Rachel Maddow, watch out, baby girl.
That's right.
Watch out for that pink slip, girl. I hope you have a plan B, okay? Because MSNBC seems to be turning into Fox.
Yeah, it's interesting because Rachel Maddow addressed it and she actually cried.
Yeah.
But she did say that she was going to stay on for the first 100 days.
Well, so that's interesting.
Normal. She said after presidency, and then she would continue with her Monday shows. But we shall see what we shall see.
And I mean, come on. Listen, Megyn Kelly thought it was okay to do blackface, folks.
Yeah.
So we could stop right there with the whole entire story.
That fucking toilet bowl of a person with that hard-ass fucking jawline. Girl, with your facial structure, short hair is not for you, Miss Girl. With your pasty-looking ass. You needed a ring light because you looked harsh as fuck. You worry about dark people, but you ain't worry about them dark circles under your eyes on that fucking camera. How you on national television looking like the ghost of Christmas future, Miss Girl. With your dumb ass. Go ahead. Sorry, I had to get
No, it's okay. You had to make it. Listen, you had to make your point. Listen, she learned nothing from that fire.
No.
Okay, and now she's maybe being supported for stuff like that, by all these crazy fools that are running things right now, So this is definitely a story to watch, I'm gonna miss Joy Reid, man. Like, she was the only reason why I watched that, aside from Rachel Maddow. That was it, Change the channel, and now
I stopped watching Morning Joe after they went down to Mar-a-Lago after he was elected. I was like, you spent the last 5 years talking shit about Trump, and then you went down
kiss
there
the
to be
ring,
nice.
and you go kiss the ring. Everybody's showing us their true colors, okay, and acknowledge it.
And you're bashing him again, but I'm sorry, I can't. You are a hypocrite. You went. What were they threatening? You come up with a reason that they threatened you that would give you justification for going down.
They were holding your kid hostage and said, "You need to come here, or I'm not going to let your kid go." That's the only way that I would say it's okay that you went to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the friggin' ring.
And the watering down of diversity in the media is a trend that is just becoming more and more apparent, and it comes from, the White House.
Coño.
And it's really scary.
Franchesca, if you look at TV broadcast news in the 60s, right, there were no brown people. There were no tanned people.
There were no women.
There were no women, okay? And we're going back to that fiasco that was that time.
Right. It was a huge deal when Barbara Walters got paid the highest amount because she was the first woman to actually do the late evening news.
But mind you, she had got fired from other places that refused to take her as the main dog that she could be.
Right. She had to move around because she was a woman. Well, she, I can say was because she unfortunately passed recently, but she's, it's just frustrating. It's all frustrating. It's all.
Well, we will continue to follow this story, and that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBT story for today. I'm Franchesca D'Amore, and let's queer up into entertainment. Lady Gaga's new album, Mayhem, was inspired by queer and black ballroom culture. Lady Gaga's new album, Mayhem, is inspired by ballroom culture and queer resilience. Gaga has confirmed it. During her recent interview, she credited Paris is Burning, what a great movie, and the ballroom scene as major influences. She recalled learning from dancers who lived that life, calling it a privilege. Gaga explained, "There are spaces where the community experiences joy, even when life is difficult." She called ballroom a powerful example of resilience. Gaga is not the only artist to do this. Beyoncé also honored ballroom culture with her album Renaissance, featuring artists like Kevin Aviance and DJ Mike Hugh. She dedicated the album to her late Uncle Johnny, a gay man who introduced her to the culture. With Gaga and Beyoncé both celebrating ballroom history, fans are now also speculating about a telephone sequel. Lady Gaga's Mayhem drops on Friday, May 7th. I am so excited for this album to drop. I mean, she's already introduced a couple of the songs, of course. There's Abracadabra, and then she did a duet with Bruno Mars.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm just so excited. I love the title she chose for this, Mayhem. Chaos, which is really great.
Appropriate for the time.
And appropriate, right? Yeah.
And appropriate. But mayhem is also a legal term. And a mayhem is a felony that involves unintentionally causing permanent disfigurement or disabling of a body part. And I think that's very Gaga-esque. Yeah. And I think it's a very social and political statement she's making with the name of the album.
She's known to do.
And I mean, I think this is a very smart move after Joker 2.
Yeah.
I don't have to say anything else about that. This is going back to usual Lady Gaga style. This is the reason why we love Lady Gaga. She gives us all our anthems, and she takes a playbook. She ain't dumb. She takes a playbook out of Beyonce's book. She takes a page out of Madonna's book. She knows exactly what she's doing, okay? And we're eating it up. Abracadabra came out, and 3 days later, they were singing it and doing a whole routine at our house.
Oh, sure.
Okay? That is how they roll. The drag queens are like, oh, new song? Oh, hold on a second. Let's get a dance move out.
Goddamn Jan Sport, the drag queen from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12, The video, I think, released, let's say, on a Thursday. By Friday, she had learned the entire routine, had backup dancers. They recreated the entire music video less than 24 hours later. Gay people will get you sick of a song because they playing that song all over social media. And as much as certain people get sick of gay people and the song playing constantly, we need this to happen.
Yep.
We need to inundate the internet with songs of anthems of queer revolution. There is about to be a huge revolution about to happen, and we need an anthem. And it's obviously going to be Lady Gaga singing that anthem at the top of it. I am so excited for this. Also, this album harkens back to her earlier albums. I'm not a huge Gaga stan. I just appreciate the music, but to hear like just fun pop. Like, there's a lot of reasons to cry nowadays. There's a lot of reasons to be sad. But sometimes you just want to go out with the girls or the man and just look a fool, shake your ass, throw your titties in the circle, just do something like that. And Lady Gaga is dropping this album at the right time because we need something to sing to celebrate. So thank you for this, Miss Gaga.
Yes, Miss Gaga. We'll be your little monsters, okay, Miss Gaga? We love you.
Had, Honey Balenciaga in it as well.
Yes, she did. Honey Balenciaga is eating up.
I have been the biggest fan of hers. And she was also in Beyonce's tour.
Yes, she was. Yes, she was. And she was on the show Legendary.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I love it. Well, go out and go listen Abracadabra. Put it on all your songs. Put it on all your stories on Instagram. Put it everywhere. All right. When we start the gay militia, we will have a big radio holding up with all her music while we march down the street in rainbow colors, because that is what we do. Anyway, that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ plus stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Stonewall's Robert Kesten emotional charge, quote, "We are the children of the rainbow," end quote. Stonewall National Museum, Archives and Library will honor LGBTQ plus heroes at its annual gala. The event will happen in Wilton Manors, Florida on March 1st, 2025. Entrepreneur Tristan Shucraft and the late Edie Windsor will receive special recognition. Windsor's widow, Judith Kesten Windsor, will accept the honor on her behalf. Windsor's Supreme Court victory helped legalize same-sex marriage nationwide. On the occasion of the upcoming Stonewall Gala, Stonewall's executive director, Robert Kesten, posted a passionate message on Facebook celebrating queer community. He warned about the erosion of queer rights in the U.S. He criticized the Department of Homeland Security's new domestic surveillance rules. He said LGBTQ people are no longer protected. He called it a dangerous slide backwards for democracy. Kesten urged the community to take action. He said, quote, "We as the children of the rainbow must build the coalition that saves our nation. Take out your flags, American and rainbow, and let the world know we are here," end quote. Tickets for the event are available at stonewall-museum.org. I love Robert Kesten. He is such a passionate individual, right? And we need the white men, the white cisgender men, to be up in arms, mad and passionate like Robert Kesten is, like Glen Weinzimer is. These are the, because at the end of the day, right, if you are not a white cisgendered man, you're in trouble. So unfortunately, and fortunately, we need the white cisgendered men at the front of this fight screaming for us. It sucks that we need them they're not giving us permission to come on up, but we need you. And Robert Kesten is very well aware about what's going on in the world.
And Robert's job is to protect our history, and I am so happy that he's coming out with this passion for his gala, because it is important. And I love the fact that he's like, it's time to stand up. It's time to speak out. It's time to show up.
Yeah.
The whole colors of the rainbow, like everyone needs to be there. Even if you don't think you have a spot on that rainbow, show up, because it's affecting you indirectly or directly. And it's more directly that everyone needs to show up.
Yeah.
And they need to take action. And this is a perfect place to invest your money and protect our history. During World War II, there was lots of history that was taken away buried in caves and stuff, transferred over. I remember being in the Czech Republic, and it was supposed to be the final museum to a lost civilization or a lost race. And it was all the Jewish artifacts from all the temples in Europe were all sent to the Czech Republic. Stonewall is our Czech Republic. Stonewall is the place where everything's being being taken and hidden. So, we have to protect it. It's in a library. I mean, it's not like it's in a steel case where it's being buried underground or it's protected from a fire. I mean, it's scary that it's all right there. And thank God a lot of it's electronic now and been scanned in. But, kudos to him for taking this.
Kudos. But he knows how important it is. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, we did the story on the fact that they eliminated the T from the Stonewall monument.
Right.
Like they were never there. Like it wasn't about them. Like they weren't the ones who threw the first brick. They were.
And the LGB should be happy because they didn't attack us. That's sort of the attitude. Like, well, we got away from that one.
No,
we didn't.
No.
It just keeps shrinking the letters.
There was a protest, I believe it was last weekend, and they were protesting Tesla, Tesla dealership, and they were also protesting in front of City Hall. And unfortunately, our numbers weren't a lot,
That's
right?
What I was going to say, like 200 people showed up.
We needed that to be 3,000 people. We needed everybody to stand up. And that's what Robert is saying, right? When you think, I don't know anybody. I don't want to go. There's no parking. F you, all right? Grab your flag and get there.
Because if it's Pride, you'll find parking when there is no parking.
You'll figure it, and there's no parking when there's 50,000 people hanging out with us at Stonewall, at our Pride parade.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you find a way there if you want to go. If it's a party, you'll find your way.
Or if it's ass, okay? If it's a hot day, you figure out how to get there, right? Then you need to figure out how to get to the protest. Or if you can't get there in person, there are ways to protest online, on social media. There are ways.
If your goal is to meet a hot ass, maybe you'll meet a hot ass that's all fired up at the protest. You can still kill two birds with one stone and make a difference.
Glenn is always thinking. Right? Glenn is always thinking, listen, but if you're not, it's now or never, folks. It just really is.
It's so important for us to preserve our history. Even you made reference to the website that's dropped the T. I think it was a couple of days ago, they recently scrubbed that same website of scholarly papers that were done. I think Julio from FIU, who's also an anchor, said he was part of that. And I remember him distinctly saying, thank God they haven't gotten rid of that. Well, they got rid of that. So it's important that we keep these stories alive, right?
And they're watching
storytelling, 100%.
I mean, there's no question that they're watching.
Yeah, they want us to fight each other. They want us to disagree. They want us to say, why aren't you helping? Screw you. You're not part of us. No, that's not what we can do right now. Right now, we unify, and that means unify all the letters. And some of you idiots that think that, we stayed back for the T, F you, okay? Get on board, do what you have to do, because trust me, your marriage is at risk too.
100%.
So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ plus stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. As a nonprofit LGBTQ media organization, we would like to thank our viewers for supporting our mission to tell the stories of the queer community. We'd also like to thank the generous support of Jets Pizza. Jets is the LGBTQ plus community's most popular pizza in South Florida.
Take a look around these streets. Do you really think we woke up one day and said, yeah, the world needs more pizza? Nah, just a better one. Better, like the world's best pizza. Jet's Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed and baked to the thickest, crispiest crunch. You're welcome. Now visit jetspizza.com and save. Click on hot deals for special offers in your area. Jets, better because it has to be.
Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ and allied community.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, FayWhat, and on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Bonnie Builder, Glen Weinzimer, and Franchesca D'Amore. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. to our LGBTQ plus world. We hope that you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, by being transformative and being queer. Good night.
Good night.